Good afternoon, Southern California. I'm John Baldwin with John Hart Real Estate, and today is Monday, October 3rd, 2022. So I always love the beginning of the month because we get into the data from the previous month. So we got all the new September data in. I've got my InfoSparks page up with all the months of supply, which is basically how we look at our absorption rate. And then I will be also posting some city specific absorption data on my website, homesbybaldwin.com. So I'll do like Burbank, Claremont. So we're getting sort of, two cities, one at each end of the county. I'll probably do LA City and then maybe something like Sherman Oaks or something like that. So we can get some multiple data points so we can see what we're looking at. But the inventory, yes, inventories are climbing in certain areas and falling in others. So, like on average, we're kind of just, as I mentioned, we're kind of going in that sideways thing. I mentioned that in the last video. So, definitely something we need to watch and pay attention to because there's the interest rates are going up and the inventories are going up. Prices are kind of going sideways, but they're also separating out. So the things that are gorgeous are going to sell for top dollar, but instead of getting top dollar for your fixer right now, buyers are pulling back and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to pay you top dollar if I have to throw another $100,000 into the property after close of escrow." So I think we're getting, seeing the fat separate out, see, the prices separate out, and I think we're going to get some more listings coming online. But as I mentioned in the last video, we're not getting as many listings as the data, as all the forecasters thought we would. So definitely something to consider. And, hopefully we can figure out what exactly is going on. But let me see if I can transition over to this. I got a slightly new setup here. Wanted you to be able to see more of this slide, so I had to put in a background, and hopefully that background's not too distracting. But hey, I'm learning as I do these, so check it out. Let me know what you think. And but as you can see here, we're looking at so at the end of September, entire MLS 2.4 months of inventory. Los Angeles City is up at 3.5 months. Burbank actually looks like it went down. So, sorry, no, Burbank went up and Claremont went down. I had those two lines backwards, but you can see Burbank went from about 1.8 months of inventory to 2.3 months of inventory, and Claremont actually dropped from 2.5 months of inventory to 2.2 months of inventory. Now, Claremont being tied to the school year so much because it is a university town with 7 major universities of the Claremont colleges, but also like Claremont, like the big draw outside of the universities is the public schools. So it is very tied to the school year. And this is a fairly normal contraction that I expect to see in Claremont at this time of year when kids are back to school. So now it's a little bit more than I would expect, but it's not out of line for Claremont. But the trend, as you can see, entire MLS popped up from 2.2 to 2.4. LA City went up from 3.1 to 3.5. Burbank is the one that I initially thought had dropped, but that's Claremont that dropped. Burbank went from 1.8 to 2.3. Same thing here. Claremont went from 2.5 to 2.2. Now, if I stretch this out, I think I can still get over to this. I'm going to show you. All right, there's the. How do I get rid of that? All right, we're going to close that. And I want to show you if I stretch this out to the max, if we can. Let's see if I can get to it again. I'm sorry, I'm doing this live while you guys are listening. And if I jump over, I can always get this to pop open into a new window. So, all right. So here is this new data. But what I wanted to show you was see how the months of inventory in after the crash, 2008. 2008 when everything was about to come tumbling down, was at 17.4 months of inventory for the entire MLS. Burbank was at 9.2. Claremont was fairly like a neutral market, actually, at 6.3 months of inventory. But that is just, you can see how we just chased it down. We are now back into kind of the normal range that we were seeing in 2018 and 2019. So we're kind of to the pre-COVID market, but our inventory, if you see here, June 2019, our inventories are still higher than they are today. So the biggest variable that everybody's watching is interest rate, because that's going to be impacting prices more than anything right now, because we aren't getting that major inventory bump to create the normal downward pressure from more houses being on the market. So what we're seeing is payment pressure. And people are looking at their payments going, oof, because at the beginning of the year, we were at 3.5% interest, and now we're right about 7% interest. So our interest rate has nearly doubled in 6 months. So this is definitely some good data out there. But I can actually, let me see if I can pull this up. And I'm doing this live, so sorry for the seeing a little bit of inside baseball, but I want to show you the price per square foot number here. I'm going to get this back to a much more manageable 5 years instead of 13 years. And then I'm going to open this up into another shareable window, because that'll give me something I can show you a little better. And here we are. You can see the there. That's interesting. So you can see the dollars per square foot spiked the 887 in Burbank, and then it dropped to 793 to 711 to 685 and bounced back up to 722. Now, sometimes this can be deceptive because it does depend on what houses we're selling. If only the big, huge, multi-million dollar properties we're selling, like the $2, $3, $4, $5 million properties, then those dollars per square foot numbers are going to be much smaller. So again, I just, you want to make sure that you're taking multiple variables into account here. But you can see prices, but dollars per square foot tick back up in, what is that? That's entire MLS. Yeah, entire MLS went from 724 to 741, and I'm sorry, I'm reading that wrong. And LA City 724 to 741, and Burbank 685 to 722. And then you can see down here, the dollars per square foot dropped. So sometimes I actually like to pull up, and again, pardon me for doing this live while I'm showing you, the rolling 3-month average to see if the data smooths out and I can see a better trend line on what's going on, because we've averaged out 3 months to make, kind of smooth our data out a little bit so we don't have as much frothiness. But we're definitely in the part of the market that I would call the frothiness. That's where we're kind of going sideways and the data just keeps going up and down, up and up and up and down. Because as we go through time, we need to get this inflation cycle under control. We need to get the interest rate so people know what their interest rate is going to be in a month. And so a lot of this is creating some volatility. But as you can see here, this is the drop on those top two. And that is why I like to look at this rolling average, because it gives you a little smoother data, a little less up and down. And we're definitely seeing the dollars per square foot start to come down. But that, again, that could be a function of which properties are selling. So until we get our inventory numbers up to about that 6-month point where we're going to be in that balanced market, we're just going to be in the froth, and you just got to, try to time things with your payment, negotiate aggressively. We are now able to actually get concessions out of sellers. We can get repairs done. We can even do what's called a 2-1 buy down. This is where we get a seller credit to do a buy down on your interest rate. Now, it has to be a seller credit for this 2-1 buy down. That means for the first year of the mortgage, you're 2% below the market rate, or 2 points below the market rate. For the second year of the mortgage, you're 1 point below the market rate. And then in the third year, you're at your full rate. But the important thing and the difference between now and 15 years ago, when, you know, the crazy market, the '04 to '07 market, was that they actually qualify you on the full rate, not the teaser rate. Because if you qualify on the teaser rate, this is what led to a slew of foreclosures in 2007 and 2008, because people were qualified on the teaser rate, not the full rate. And when the rate exploded, they couldn't afford it. So fundamentally a different program, but the 2-1 buy down has to be a seller credit to get that. So definitely something to talk to me about. Give me a call, 213-973-3777. Got a lot of interesting data coming out. I'm going to do a second video today that's going to be a little different. I'll post it on a Rumble and YouTube and get it out to everyone too. I want everybody to think about their emergency kit, because seeing what's happening in Florida, I think we've been a little complacent here in California. We haven't had a major earthquake in a long time, knock on wood. And so I just want to I'll do a brief video on some things that I think you should do to have a good earthquake kit or emergency kit at home ready to go. So keep an eye out for that. But wanted to get this video out. It's definitely... The data is basically pointing to what I've been calling is this sort of sideways move. Things will separate out, prices will separate out, and the cream of the crop will rise to the top, and the ones that need work will fall, and it will be priced accordingly. But again, the key to this market is accuracy. You need to be in line with your 30 and 60-day comps. Do not look at the comp that is like way out of whack. You know, basically you need to know, look at your data, make sure you're talking to me and getting the good info. But give me a call, 213-973-3777, and let's get your house sold.